Welcome to the 2025 EXL pregame show. I'm your host, Derek Tate. It is truly a first versus worst scenario to finish out the 2025 season as the defending champion Degenerates take on the Speedsters in the EXL Championship. And we are joined by Cody Graham, owner of the Speedsters. Cody, it has been quite a journey from where you were just one season ago, out of the playoffs, looking ahead to the 101 and adding Degenerates to the team. How surprised are you that you're actually in the EXL Championship looking for a chance to secure your first title in your league's in franchise history?
Very surprised, very surprised. I mean, whenever we did the startup, we took some chances on some year two guys that we thought could blossom very quickly. And in that year two, they came on strong late and thought we had a good chance for this year. But I think that the success that we've had has been pretty surprising and excited to be here.
Well, some of that success, because you look at the receivers that you have, and it's I believe, one of the strongest, if not the strongest collection at that position in the entire league, with Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith-Njigba, Rashee Rice. You even lost Malik Neighbors. You guys still kept clicking, but it's really been the quarterback position that's been a little bit of a revolving door, some concerns at some point, but Trevor Lawrence has gotten red hot. So tell me what his explosion over the last month of the season has meant to you guys being able to make a postseason run.
It's been huge. It's been huge. We identified towards the, about midway through the offseason that we had an abundance of quarterbacks because we had Caleb Williams before, and, you can only start two in the Superflex League. And so we realized that there was too much there. And we thought with the depth with McCarthy and Penix and Lawrence that we would have, and Dart at the time, he wasn't a starter, could be able to trudge through the season. And it's been very important to have Lawrence show up, as you've seen lately, because a lot of our depth's been eaten up by injuries, which happens, part of the game, but he's shown up. And that's been another guy that we got in the startup that we thought, he had a good chance to continue to grow despite all the coaching changes that he'd had in his organization and everything else like that. So it's been really cool to see him blossom under a new regime this year.
We were going to be able to ride with him and Jackson Dart in the starting lineup in this Superflex format, right? You've been also a youth movement at the running back position with Ashton Jeanty and RJ Harvey, and maybe some of the misfortune with some of the injuries. In fact, JJ McCarthy is unavailable for this EXL Championship matchup, but the injury to J.K. Dobbins has actually opened up some more opportunities for RJ Harvey. But really, the tight end position is, I think, an X factor for this EXL Championship game. And last week, Colby Parkinson, 2 weeks ago, for 2 touchdowns, had a great breakout performance. Then Stafford throws for over 400 yards against one of the top defenses in the NFL. But it was a quiet day for Colby Parkinson. So kind of tell me what your thought process is for maybe that one tight end position in this tight end premium format between Parkinson and Evan Ingram, and what you're expecting from the tight end position in this EXL Championship.
Yeah, we're still evaluating that position. That's definitely something that, we just signed Parkinson's 2 weeks ago. And he didn't, like I said, didn't show up. He had a couple drops that were unfortunate to see in that game that would have, I think, propelled him to at least a respectable score. We're waiting to see what the issue is with Kittle on his ankle, because Tungus is out there on the waiver wire. So that's something that we're considering. We still got cap, and the Degenerates don't have any cap. So we're able to make those moves openly. So we're considering that. It's a potential pivot, just especially with, they've got Stafford as well. So, kind of a cancel out potential situation for us to gain points. So that's something that we're considering. But I would say right now, Parkinson's trending towards being the starter for us. Ingram's just too inconsistent, and pretty concerned about the Chiefs matchup with the Broncos, honestly, in terms of them continuing to play their starters very far into that game. And Ingram already, is only playing about 50% of the snaps. So it's difficult.
So the only other spot, too, because you're looking at the rest of the starting lineup entering the EXL Championship, everything on the line, right? And you've got, of course, your Jackson Smith-Njigba, Puka Nacua, Terry McLaurin back in the starting lineup, which has also been a nice boost to your receiver position after Rashee Rice exiting and being unavailable last week. But we're also looking at Michael Carter. I'm curious, are there any potential changes to the starting lineup for the Speedsters in the EXL Championship for that spot right now that is currently occupied by Michael Carter?
Yeah, that's $1 million question right now, or the $30,000 question. Carter looked good last week actually, but then it was really disappointing to see the backfield get split three ways. So I'm highly concerned about that. And if they had a typical matchup, I'd probably be disregarding Carter, but they're playing Cincinnati and they've got a pretty weak run D. I'm hopeful that either Burden, or it looks like based on Ben Johnson's comments today that Odunze won't be playing this year, or this regular season. It doesn't look like. So I'm hopeful that Burden can be healthy. He also didn't practice today. So we're looking at a potential change there. If something changes on the injury front, then more guys become available.
Yeah, some of the other guys that could be potential options, and you already mentioned Romo Dunze and Luther Burden, a pair of Chicago Bears wide receivers that have been a little bit dinged up for Caleb Williams in that offense, but also Rashee Rice. Rice with Mahomes was outstanding even after serving his 6-game suspension. But now you look, he's got a third-string quarterback under center, and the Kansas City Chiefs just got waxed by one of the worst teams in the NFL and the Tennessee Titans. What's the trust level, even if Rashee Rice is available for this EXL championship game?
I would say very low, very low. I'm a Chiefs fan actually, so I've watched the team very intently, and I think it'll be very difficult given that pass defense in terms of Surtain will probably be locked in on Rice with all the injuries that they have. And Rice still didn't practice today, so with a Thursday start, I really don't think that they're going to put him out there. But if they did with a third string quarterback, I think I'm going to take my guaranteed points with Carter probably over that type of situation, even though it's very, the book might say to take Rice, given that he's a great performer and he's one of my favorite receivers for sure in the entire league from a fan standpoint.
Yeah, the Denver Broncos defense is also one that isn't exactly very enticing, but obviously a lot of big decisions and a couple final decisions to be made, even though we are on the doorstep of the EXL Championship. Cody, to the Speedsters, congratulations and good luck in the EXL Championship, friend.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yep. And of course, we will be joined